Here we are in the engine bay with Cliff's Holes. We've got the billet radiator cover panel here, meant to kind of mimic the factory unit that mounts the radiator to the factory Oldsmobile core support. We've got the factory hood pin mounts. We've got the LT4 with our custom billet coil covers to cover the engine to kind of just give it an Oldsmobile vibe. In the front, we've refurbished everything that was up here in front. These parts are not available, so we've had to rework them to get them to fit the car. The bumper's now installed. We made some custom fog light recesses to put the JW speaker lights also in the fog lights. We made a little front spoiler that kind of mimics the Chevelle ones to mount on the front of the car because it just makes it look a little bit more aggressive. As you can see, we left the carbon fiber inner fender panels exposed and we clear coated them. Up here in front, we've got our KL 5000 one-off wheels we get from Forgeline. We Cerakote the centers with a black and a glacier silver and then put them into the polished tubes on the step lip wheels. We got with Wilwood and got some custom colored calipers just to kind of set it off a little differently on this car than you would on something else. We're making new center caps because the Forgeline wheels come with an SS cap, which we didn't feel was appropriate. So Forgeline is setting us up with some center caps that say 442 instead of SS. As you can see, the car is sitting close to ride height at this point. It hasn't been driven, so there's really no way to know where it's exactly gonna land, but this is close to the stance that we'll achieve on the car when it's completed. On the back of the car, we had to modify the exhaust to move the resonators up so you wouldn't see it from the side profile of the car. Then we had to index the pipes to come through the notches that are in the factory bumper on the Oldsmobile and get all that set into position with an angle cut tip. At this point, we have not yet figured out a new license plate frame to quite be much better than this gold unit that's on here. So here we are with mirrors on Cliff's Oldsmobile. The stock mirror, kind of clunky, kind of round, has the original manual levers that don't ever really work great. And so we got with Troy over there at Intech Auto, and he designed up a mirror that was based on his theory of putting the mirror inside here and making it adjustable instead of the whole housing. And sent over this 3D printed model for us to try in replacement over the factory unit. Here we are in the interior with Cliff's car. As you can see, it's really coming together. The gauge cluster that George designed is the same perimeter dimensions as the Chevelle unit that we make. We recessed the gauges a little bit further than we would in a Chevelle just to help maintain that original look that was in the Oldsmobile. The veneer wood is all real veneered wood over aluminum panels that has been stained and clear coated and bolts on from the back side. These are both individual panels. The way it goes together, there's about 7 pieces that make up this gauge cluster to achieve this look. We use the same veneer wood on the door panels as we showed you last month how these things assemble. The same veneer wood has now been cleared and stained. We need to paint the recess of this red and finish polishing that. The interior, we had set up the seats to still be recessed like we do in the other Chevelles, about 2 inches to accommodate the power seats and to just sit you down lower in the car as a taller driver. You can see how much easier it is for a guy like me at 6'6" to still fit in the car. The custom stuff that we did is just did different pleating on the bottom, and on the top we did this quadrant section with the 4 buttons. Kind of mimics what was in the Oldsmobile from the factory. We carried the same design into the back seat, and we also did the same thing with the inner quarter panels with the wood inserts. At this point, we're waiting on the center console bezel. We've had that machined and it's on its way. The wood has already been laser cut, bezel to the polisher and get the edges polished, and then Cerakote the parts that need to be Cerakoted to match and put in the wood insert. The center console door is still meant to go on here and be covered in leather so you have a soft contact point over this painted carbon.